What up, NBA world and Laker family? How y'all doing out there today? Wow, this is what it's all about. NBA playoffs, baby, where heroes are born and stars, real stars, shine the brightest. Shout out to the New Orleans Pelicans, man. Tiny Dog, aka the baby Lakers, Larry Nance, Tiny Dog. Uh, Phenomenal game we just witnessed over on TNT, Suns versus Pelicans, where the Pelicans came out on top, 125 to 114, which I think is a shocker. Yes, prayers up to Devin Booker. You never like to see players getting injured, especially in an important playoff series. But no excuses. Just like they said, no excuses for us when we got injured. Same energy. And check this out: the Pelicans, young, unexperienced. Um, they're proving my theory wrong. I say young teams usually don't have major success in the playoffs, but this team might have the right combination of vets and young players to maybe pull off a shocker or two. But what a great game by Brandon Ingram. I mean, we knew Brandon Kingram was going to be phenomenal in the league. We knew it since he was a Laker, and people will make fun of us for saying it and all that. But 37 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. What a phenom! Like, this kid's a feat. This is what the playoffs is all about. Again, this is where you separate the average from the stars. And he really came out here and he shined, man. And big ups to CJ. He didn't have the best game, but he stepped up big time in the end. And I think they found the key to beating this team. For me, that's running, pushing the pace, using their young legs to get past Chris Paul and the rest of the crew, especially the older players on that team. You got to love the way they were playing. Jackson Hayes out in transition is a weapon because he has good hands. He's athletic. He can finish in transition. Big weapon for them. And if they can somehow pull off the upset, now, big news coming up because Devin Booker, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. Hopefully not. I don't want any excuses, but, he was out the rest of the game with hamstring tightness. And, we all know that injury, depending on the severity of it, could, keep him out for quite some time. But my, how the tables have turned now. I wish him the best. I hate any player, even the ones I dislike, like Devin Booker, getting injured. It's not good for the game. But come on, man. They were making fun of us when Anthony Davis got injured. They were showboating and everything. So I just find it funny how karma has a way of coming back. Now, hopefully that ain't the reason they lose, and it's the Pelicans balling out. But still, man, absolutely love that young core. They're extremely fun to watch. They play hard. That Trey Murphy kid, man, I scouted him in the draft. I liked him a lot. He's out here smacking threes, man, left and right. He's fearless. That's what's up, man. You love to see that from a young player. They gutted this one out on the road in a hostile environment without almost no playoff experience. A lot of these players hadn't been to the playoffs, especially their superstar Brandon Ingram. So this could be huge for them moving forward, man. It's so nice. You're still streaming, bro. Nice getting to hear someone talk about what I just watched. It's phenomenal, bro. I'll be here. Any good game that I witness and it's worth talking about, I'm definitely popping back up on the string every night, man. You guys asked for it, so I'm here. Now, we're also going to talk some Lakers stuff here and there when it, becomes relevant and all that. But right now, this playoffs has been so good that, hey, I even put up a poll for you guys to vote on Twitter. Do you guys want me to do a doomsday scenario video for the Lakers tomorrow? Or do you guys want me to live stream reaction to the Brooklyn Nets versus Boston Celtics? You guys on Twitter have voted for that one, like by a pretty wide margin. So I'll let YouTube vote what you guys want as well. Regardless, that other video is coming on Friday. So it's up to y'all, man. He said, I love to see B.I. balling. Miss him. I miss him too, but you know what? We always knew he was going to be phenomenal. This is not a shocker to us. I've seen some people post that, hey, they wish we would have traded Kuzma. But let's be honest, that conversation doesn't even get picked up if you don't include Brandon Ingram. Like, I think the whole league knew what his potential was. And I always told you guys from the beginning, I told you guys, hey, Brandon Ingram's going to be better than Ben Simmons. People laughed at me when I said that. I always go out on a limb, and I say because he has a great face-up game, and he's fearless. Tiny Dog is fearless. Hence the name Tiny Dog, because he actually has a big dog in him, but he's Tiny Dog because obviously he's skinny. Live stream Brooklyn versus Boston. For sure, man. Drop your votes down low. So far on Twitter, like I said, like 60, 70% is for that. So it's probably going to happen. B.I. is underrated. He's only underrated because the world hasn't really got to see who he is because he plays for the Pelicans. They don't get a lot of nationally televised games. But for those of us, we saw the baby Lakers grow up. We know their potential. I look forward to seeing them continue to grow. I mean, I get butterflies just watching, dude. It's like watching your kid shine for the first time on. Like he's getting the national televised stage, and he's not disappointing, man. He has not been disappointed at all. So if him and CJ can continue this onslaught, Wow. And imagine if Zion eventually joins them, that would be scary. Now, eyes out for Devin Booker. Let's see what that situation is like, because that could definitely change that on its head, this series on its head. It's still not over. It's 1-1, could be anybody's series, but Devin Booker's health definitely is going to be a factor into this. And so I'll be definitely keeping a close eye on that. He said, Dan, you're right. Everyone knew BI was going to be good. Yes, except for a couple of haters. His rookie season, I think he only averaged 15 points or something like that. And he was shooting a low percentage from beyond the arc. People were calling him a bust his rookie year. So I had to defend him just like all the other young core players, because there's some, simpletons out there that can never see potential in the rawness of a player. But, since his days at Duke, this guy was phenomenal. I mean, he's always been a killer. He's always been a go-to. He wants to be that guy. That's the most important part. He has the tools, the wingspan, the athleticism, the drive. He plays good defense. I mean, what does this kid not do? And then he had some dagger threes there in the end that I was just like, wow, he's fearless, man. Those are tough shots they hit on the road, hostile environment, in a playoff game, and he hit them. He's definitely always passed the eye test for me. Zion looks heavy. I know that's very disappointing, man. I want Zion to get healthy because, again, I've been a fan of his since high school. I mean, we've been scouting this kid a long time ago, and I think the NBA is missing out on his talent. He's very talented, but the last thing we need is for him to be, become the next Greg Oden. So that he's treading on thin ice right now. But we need this guy to step up and play to his potential, man, because the NBA loves young talent. And I know I for sure would love to see him out there. He said he looks 50 pounds overweight. I'm not even sure if he wants to be there, man, which is sad, because anytime you get drafted to the NBA, you should give whatever franchise drafts you your 100%. And then once the contract comes up, then you have your decisions to make, He's a DTLF. He's a KD 2.0. He definitely has some similarities for sure. Definitely does, man. I can see why people always said that about him since college. Since college. He said, I'm just reminding everybody Ingram is just 24 years old, a great future ahead. I remember I went out on a limb and I said Brandon Ingram's going to be probably a top 5 to top 10 player in this league. His rookie season. That's how much potential you could see in him. I mean, he was oozing and dripping with potential, and now he's starting to realize that. Now, it's early, though. It's still 1-1. I want to believe in these young pals, but if they can win one more game at home and take a 2-1 series lead, all bets are off, man. Anything's possible. And I think they can do it. If they feed off of the home crowd, the young players play better. Willie Green's doing a tremendous job. Tremendous job. At times it looked like the game was about to get out of reach, and this young team kept fighting. And I think that, again, coaching matters a lot. He settles them down. He's very passionate, and they buy what he's selling. That's kind of what I want for the Lakers. Talking about the Lakers, I don't know if you guys seen episode 7 of Winning Time on Showtime, right? On HBO Max, sorry. I have not seen the latest episode. I'm on 6 still. I've been busy, but I heard Jerry West requested the show and the production company to put a stop to it and apologize to him. So I think that's interesting. Somebody mentioned this on Twitter. They said, hey, he's acting exactly like the Jerry West from the show, the a-hole part. And of course, these shows always add extra sauce. So they're not 100% accurate, but I think it depicts a lot of similarities. So I don't know, man. If I was him, I would have just let it rock, because this makes him look worse to me personally. I don't know. What do you guys think about that whole situation? He said, have you seen the Golden State series? Jordan Poole went off. I know that much. I've watched it in parts. I wasn't here for the most part today, but I came back late during the game. I saw Jordan Poole going off. I mean, they got themselves one. Whatever they're doing over there to develop guards definitely seems to be working. So, again, the player development is proof that you can have your cake and eat it too. And that's something they have done. Kareem doesn't like it. I know Magic doesn't like it either. I think because maybe these shows, obviously they do exaggerate some stuff, but other stuff is like, it doesn't need to be depicted to tell the story. But, it's very entertaining. That's for sure. Because I think Jerry was kind of always mad like that, bro. Maybe not exaggerated, but have you seen him? Just imagine him back then. That's true. And again, somebody said the Jerry West from the show would have acted this exact same way. So it's kind of funny because that hit the nail right on the head. By the way, it looks like I will be on live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time to react live to that Brooklyn Nets versus Boston Celtics series, which for me has been my favorite game one so far. This has been my second favorite series right here, the Pelicans Suns, especially now that they won. It gives me hope that maybe the young Pelicans will get confidence. But I think, again, back to tonight's game, I think the Pelicans definitely found something out. Pushing the pace versus this team, there's some old players that can't run with them. Obviously, Chris Paul, Jay Crowder's, obviously they have some youth too, but if Devin Booker's out, they got to continue pushing that pace, and maybe they could run the Suns out of the gym and give them a little taste of medicine to what they did to us when we got injured with Anthony Davis, last year. So, again, karma has a funny way of finding its way back to you. He said, you should read what Kareem wrote about the show. I haven't looked into it yet, but I'm sure they're all displeased. I mean, it kind of shows you the darker side of the entertainment industry and the business side, which I think is really realistic. Hollywood can be a dark place. It can be an awesome place as well. And I think this show kind of depicts both sides of that, which is all entertainment, He said the show also says Kareem was kind of an ass, which might be true because I guess in the book the show is about, it said Magic hated how he treated people. Well, I'll tell you this, man. If you watch the show, and spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched it, but it also tells you his perspective and his point of view. Obviously, when Kareem came in the league, there was still a lot of racism. There was still a lot of people booing and hating on African American athletes. So he came when like the racism was at its peak. So obviously that's gonna make somebody bitter, and it's gonna make you feel like those fans only love you for your success, and they're not really there for you. So it almost makes it feel like fake. However, there's always two perspectives. There's always two flips of the coin. Not everybody's racist in that time or in this time. And not everybody was worth, wasting time on as far as the fans go and all that as well. So one thing I'll say about Kareem is, yes, you do see the serious side of him, which obviously he was, but also remember this is my quote, and you could trademark it, whatever. But I think we all have a little bit of a-hole, both men and women. We all have it in us. Sometimes you have to have it because there's some perpetrators that will try to bring you down, and you have to, your a-hole side has to come up and just stiff arm them suckers. But I think it's the people that don't like to admit it that are the biggest a-holes of them all. They think they're perfect and they look down upon the rest. I think I have an a-hole side. I think everybody I've ever met has an a-hole side, and that doesn't mean you're not a nice person or a good overall person and positive and all that. But it means that everybody has to develop that grit in order to weather the storm. I say the same thing about Kyrie. People wonder why I like Kyrie. And, there's people criticizing him, calling him names because he was flicking off people. It's like, listen, you get the same energy you put out. If you put out negativity and hate and call him all kinds of names, don't be surprised when he flicks you off. Like, that's the least he could do. The most he could do is punch your ass out. Detroit Pistons at Malice at the Palace style, right? But everybody has a little bit of a-hole to them, and sometimes it needs to come out. Y'all see me get on my defense mode when the trolls come through. You got to, because if not, people will step all over you. You can't be too much of a nice guy. You could be a nice guy overall to those that deserve it from you, but to those that don't. So therefore, I understand both Jerry West and Kareem's and Magic's perspective, and I think this show does a beautiful way of showing you everybody's perspective. There's really no right or wrong. It's just that everybody's different, and you can see why they're that way. At least that's what I get out of it. Truly enjoying the show, man. And you know what? When I watch episode 7, I might do a episode 7 review with y'all, man. People have been asking me to do reviews, but I don't want to spoil it for the folks. But it is Laker related, so I could come on this channel and talk about it for sure. Thanks, Roy. Appreciate you, bro. He said Kareem said he don't care what they said about him, but the way it hurt his skyhook. But in a way, it hurt his skyhook foundation. I feel you. I mean, listen, man, like I said, everybody has an opinion. It doesn't always make you right or wrong. But, I think these legends are legends, man. I always love them for what they did for the Lakers. No show could take that away from me as a fan. I'm a diehard Laker fan. I appreciate Kareem, one of the GOATs, Magic, one of the GOATs, LeBron, Kobe. I mean, these are our GOATs, man. These are a part of our history. These are a part of our team. So I think we should love them for who they are, whether they were grumpy or not, it doesn't matter. Ingram is cold. Yes, he is. Ingram is cold-blooded as heck, man. But we always knew that. He always had that killer in him, and he always wanted all the smoke. We remember when he punched. No, he didn't punch, but he wanted to swing on Chris Paul. We remember. He said, real talk, I never wanted to trade B.I. Genie wanted to keep Kuz. LOL. We got our 2020 chip, but our young core was very athletic. Listen, it wasn't about who Genie wanted to keep. We're lucky we were able to keep one of those young players because they could have all went in the package. That's what the Pelicans wanted. So I think you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. But again, just my opinion. from my perspective, is we got lucky we were able to keep Kuz, and he was a part of a championship run. He was also a crucial piece when players were missing. He was huge. He was like a glue guy off the bench who was humble enough to accept whatever role we gave to him. And now you see him shining on a bigger role. But the bottom line is, here's the bottom line. I don't regret the trade. Of course, I missed the young core, and I wish we kept some of them. But I don't regret the trade. It got us a championship, and everything happens for a reason. That's the way I see it, man. You can't regret it. He said, it's entertainment and dramatization. You need it both to make a good show. Exactly. And I also like watching documentaries, but this is definitely not a docuseries. David Hay says, DTLF, love your music, dog. I played it in my whip today. I appreciate that, David. And by the way, all 3 tracks that I've dropped so far are out on iTunes and all streaming platforms. So go ahead and, if you guys ever want to bump my stuff, man, I truly appreciate y'all, for real. Because I think us Laker fans know what's real in the show and what is not. But for non-Laker fans, it just shows stuff that didn't happen back then, and it makes them look bad. I guess I can see it from that perspective as well. I mean, let's be real. Who, anybody on the chat, who would like it if you know what the history was, and then you watch a movie or a show, and it's completely different than what you thought, right? So obviously, I can understand the frustration and all that, but there's nothing you can do when you're a big name, and you're a superstar and you're a legend. We already know that. We already know that side of you. And if anything, you want to prove the show wrong, you just continue being graceful and humble, and not everybody's as blessed as they are, and all they have to do is just. Nobody's ever going to hate on Kareem or Jerry West, even though Jerry has said some things about our Lakers that has rubbed us the wrong way. I still appreciate him for everything he's done for this franchise and organization, for what he's done for Kobe. We can't turn on them. We can't be those knee-jerk reaction type fans, fair weather, that turn on our legends for mistakes they made. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, guys. That's the bottom line. Danny, what's up, bro? Blessings, brother. He said, I don't think the young guys would have gotten us a chip. They wouldn't have. Let's be real. They needed patience. They needed time. So depending on the coaching, some of them wouldn't even probably develop properly. Also, player roles matter, situations. It's all different. But obviously, I love young talent, and it hurt me like hell to see those guys go. It hurt me. I even made a farewell tribute to them. That's how bad it hurt, right? But I know this. Historically, the Lakers don't build to the draft. All right. The last players that we got through the draft or via trade or whatever you want to say is Kobe Bryant, Andrew Bynum, and before that, Magic, James Worthy. So it's a long time in between. And how the Lakers really win championships is, whether you like it or not, is we either trade for big superstars or the biggest names just land here, just like LeBron James did. Just like LeBron James did. So at the end of the day, I hope that we transition into, having our cake and eat it too. Keep our draft picks, develop them, young guys like THT and Austin Reeves, and also compete for titles. But in a perfect world, that would be awesome. But I think right now our situation, due to the Russell Westbrook trade, is we have to find a way to unload his contract. That might take a draft pick. I wouldn't like it, but if we get the right pieces, there's a trade that was being proposed around King's Twitter. That it was, I think it was Russell Westbrook to the Kings for Fox. I think it was Holmes, and I forgot who the third piece was. But we would have to include our 2017 first-round pick and our 2019 first-round pick. And I just posted it out there because it came from King's Twitter, and obviously it was approved in the trade machine and all that. And I was like, what does Laker Nation think of this? King's Twitter would do it. Obviously, you might say, well, why would they trade for Westbrook? One, he's an expiring contract. Two, they get 2 first-round picks that are a high commodity in this league and very hard to come by. And 3, they would, obviously clear the cap space and get an expiring contract in Russ. So I think it's possible for a trade like that. And I think the media is trying to dig a bigger hole for the Lakers than what we are in. All right. I think the Lakers did an excellent thing by firing their head coach. All right. It shows that we're not going to take 16 games under 500 laying down and just be okay with that. Expect Russell Westbrook to get traded. Now, rumor has it he cannot get traded till he opts into his contract, so it might not be for a while, right? We might have to wait till free agency before we even trade him. So just stay patient, with this whole situation in Laker Nation. But one thing we can look forward to in the meanwhile is maybe potentially other trades or the hiring of the coach, right? Also, this is what I don't look forward to: the draft lottery. All right, since we had one of the worst records in the league and we lost our pick, to I think it's gonna. I'm not sure if it goes to the Pelicans or to the Grizzlies. One of their trades they did, but it's gonna be a top 8 pick most likely. Imagine if it slides and becomes the number 1 pick. Ooh, then that trade will hurt even more, right? As far as assets we gave up go, but we can't look back. What's done is done, and we have to march forward. The encouraging thing I can tell Laker fans is the Lakers have always found talent, undrafted talent. Recently, obviously, Caruso and Austin Reeves were two of the biggest undrafted talent that we have found. Lakers have made a living out of buying second round picks or early or late first round picks, trading for them and turning those into gem picks. So we can look forward to that potentially, and the rest we will see how we go from there. If you guys have any Laker related questions, I'm here for you. If you have any playoff related questions, I'm here for you. I mean, the Hawks gave it all they could today, but the Miami Heat are just too potent, and without Clint Capella, man, my boy Trae Young he's gonna have to go off in Atlanta twice to even get a win. So he said, Dan, the Lakers are forever the greatest franchise in the world. For sure. And I find it funny how analysts have been saying things like, oh, these aren't the same Lakers that Dr. Buss built and all this. Listen, the Lakers are always going to be the Lakers. And yes, Dr. Buss just added the magic to him, but he left the team in the hands of his offspring, of his daughter, and so far won championships. So what are people overreacting about? Clearly, we're not out of the race. Clearly, LeBron James still chose us. And clearly, even when LeBron's gone, because people are panicking about him not opting into his 2-year contract or whatever, that can actually lead to flexibility for both parties. So you got to look at it from the opposite side. And do you think when LeBron James leaves or if Anthony Davis gets traded, there won't be any free agents interested in the Lakers? You're wrong. There's plenty of free agents that I think we would have got had we not landed AD and LeBron. Because they want to be alphas, all right? They want to come in here and be the main go-tos. So I think there's going to be plenty of options in the future, but I'm not worried about that. 1 year at a time. Next year, there's still a chance to compete if the Lakers make all the right moves. That's what we got to focus on. Now, what do you guys think of the Kings' proposed trade of 2 first-round picks and Russell Westbrook for De'Aaron Fox? I would prefer Harrison Barnes, but the contracts wouldn't match. Rayshawn Holmes, and I forgot who the filler was, but it's on my Twitter. What do you guys think of that? And then I'll tell you guys what I think of it. He said, Canley Jansen pitching for the save. Canley Jansen. He said, Dan, do you have a favorite South Park episode? Bro, my little nephew has gotten into all of that stuff. It's been years since I've watched. Well, I haven't watched from season 20 up. I haven't really watched. If I could think back to a South Park episode that I liked, probably the one with the dog whisperer with Cartman. I thought that shit was hilarious. When the mom, Nanny 911 and Super Nanny couldn't really tame him, so they got the dog whisperer. That was funny, man. And he couldn't eat the chicken skins, and they were like punishing him. Hilarious, man. But I grew up on South Park, so I think it's funny. Any rumors about the coach? There's rumors left and right, man. Rumor has it that so far, I don't know how much validity this has to it, but rumor has it that Doc Rivers could be a shoe-in as a head coach. Yes, I know. Sounds like a doomsday scenario, and I was going to save it for that video, but if y'all want to talk about it, I could definitely bring it up. Supposedly, Doc Rivers is very interested in the Lakers coaching job, and the Lakers are going to reciprocate. ESPN keeps saying that Doc Rivers would be perfect if we still have LeBron James. I don't agree. Also, Juwan Howard's name has appeared a lot. Dodgers about to lose. Hopefully they pull through, man. That's tough. He said players, but they are in a 7-game win streak. So, I mean, they started off hot. We're going to have some ups and downs, but so far the season has been very promising. Dan, who's some of your favorite mainstream rappers? Man, obviously Kendrick, who's about to come out with another album. 21 Savage. I mean, I like a lot of them, man. I like Future. He's cool, especially for hooks. I mean, Future's a beast for hooks, which is something I think I do catchy hooks. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. But y'all hear my hooks on my music, everything out there on iTunes, it's all about hooks, man. Because that's what connects the song together. I mean, I have tons of them, man. I none of them, like, I'm sure I left out a gang of them, but I like Melly. I like Melly, and they actually just tweeted that he might get let out of prison next year. I doubt it. But yeah, Melly is pretty dope because he sings and raps. It's kind of like in my style. So, I mean, I like a lot of artists, man. I like old school ones too. Everything. Lakers need to get Terry Rozier. Scary Terry Rozier. I would not mind him at all, but he gives me like, I don't know. I hate to say it, and I don't want to jinx it, so I'll probably keep it to myself. But he gives me vibes of somebody we had last year who didn't do very good in the playoffs. And what I mean by that is these type of players, they might be good elsewhere, but I'm not sure they'll do good with the Lakers. Dan, do you like Anderson .Paak? That's the dude that sings with Bruno Mars, right? Yeah, he's pretty dope. He's pretty dope. He's got a lot of soul, man. For sure. Damn, Kenley Jansen. Oh man, that's tough. That's tough to lose to an ex-teammate too. He said, also, I'm glad the Timberwolves lost. Listen, I expect Memphis to come out of that series, but the fact that they already got a split, if they go back home and Anthony Edwards goes off and D'Angelo Russell and they all do their thing, then they might have a shot. But those are two young teams going at each other. The only difference is I like the veterans on Memphis better, personally. You know, the Steven Adams of the world, those kind of guys. But those are two young teams going at it, and you just never know. When two young teams go at it, doesn't matter what seat they are in. You don't know who's going to prevail, and it's fun basketball to watch for sure. Yeah. Yep. Me Ma said it. I didn't want to say it. Me Ma said it. He said, "Hey Dan, how are you, bro? I'm doing good, man." He said, "Played hoop yesterday. Suddenly, Westbrook entered my mind, and my shot hit the side of the backboard." That's funny. That's funny. He said, "Dan, Pelicans are going to win in 7. I hope they win in 6. But again, if Devin Booker comes back, he could be the difference. I don't like Devin Booker, but he's very talented. And they have the experience. Phoenix clearly has the experience. If Chris Paul takes over like he did the other night, I mean, the Pelicans were really in both games. It's that Chris Paul took over the first game, game 1. So I know that hamstring injury could be really serious. We all know that because our players have dealt with that in the past. That impacted some of our playoff runs, right? But I wish him the best because I don't want, as much as I dislike the Suns, I never like to see injured players. Like, I wanted Paul George to play for the Clippers so that they can get eliminated fair and square. I don't want to hear no excuses. And the same thing with the Suns. I want Booker to be healthy. If they're going to get eliminated, I want it to happen the right way, because how hypocritical would it be if they get eliminated and they use the Booker excuse when they were making fun of us for the Anthony Davis excuse and the LeBron James excuse, right? So the irony in that. He said, Adams barely a veteran, bro, like 28, LOL, but he looks old. Nah, he has what I mean by veteran doesn't matter the age, Dave. What I mean is his playoff experience. He's been around. All right. Steven Adams has been around, definitely has playoff experience, and he's a tough player. That matters. In a playoff series, the little things can make a difference because the game slows down. I was really pleasantly surprised to see the Pelicans go off for 125 points on the road. That's a great sign for them. That tells me that their confidence is starting to shoot up. And if they can capitalize on everything that just happened tonight, again, we found out that when they push the pace, they're the most effective. That's the Phoenix Suns' weakness, believe it or not. And Devin Booker's injury could factor into it. So they just have to capitalize and don't let their foot off the gas. You know, use this as a catapult to get to the finish line, because what can happen is if they get too confident at home and the Suns get a win there and then Devin Booker comes back, that can give the Suns back the full momentum. Right now, believe it or not, the split is in the favor of the Pelicans, especially due to the fact that Dev might be injured. So, is it Dan? The playoffs are always entertaining, even if the Lakers aren't in it. They're entertaining, but there's something missing, man. I don't know if it's a piece of my heart that's lacking right now because I can't get fully behind any other franchise than the Lakers. I mean, I like little teams here and there and some players here and there. Obviously, I'm a big Kyrie fan, even though I don't like Brooklyn or KD. And obviously, I like Jason Tatum, but I'll never root for Boston, no matter what, man. Not even on my deathbed, I would never. So, it's a confusing time as a Laker fan. I really wish my team was in there, but yes, basketball is always fun to watch, no matter what. Hey, appreciate you, Josue. Same thing when the Suns went through the Nuggets and the Flippers, they was injured. I know. That's why I said it, Darius. Like, they took advantage of it, which, hey, I guess injuries are a part of the game. But I knew they weren't going to win the championship that year. And I told you guys, I don't think the Suns can win the championship this year either. I just don't see that X factor on the team, that Giannis type player that's invincible. We all know Devin Booker can get hot some games, but he can also disappear some games. This is why I always compare him more to prime Ray Allen when he was with Seattle than Kobe Bryant, who was invincible. Even when his shot was off, He will find ways to be impactful, blocking shots. Similar to LeBron James in the sense that they take over the game in different ways, not just scoring. Devin Booker, you take away his scoring. Can he play make? Sure. But can you count on it night in and night out basis? Not really. And he's super talented, don't get me wrong, but the mentality is not the Mamba mentality, even though he reminds a lot of people of Kobe, because Mamba mentality would never complain about getting double teamed and get rattled like that. And if your scoring is off, you got to find other ways to impact the game. That's all I'll say about that. But it's no hate. Clearly, I like the young buck. I mean, he's part Mexican, for God's sakes, So clearly, I don't hate him. What I dislike, his horrible attitude. I hate the Suns he plays for because I feel like Chris Paul's crybaby self and Jay Crowder's dirty play has rubbed off, and that's what he sponged up as a young player, right, from his veterans. So that's unfortunate. That's really when my likability for Devin Booker went out the window when I seen that. He was just crying about everything, trying to fight my Lakers all the time, and just complain about too much calls and getting double teamed in the offseason, bro. It's like, you're not the next Kobe, but he's still really talented. It's no hate. But like I've always said this, to me, there's levels to this. Kobe and then everybody else. Sure, Jason Tatum is nice. He's no Kobe, all right? He's got some features in there that remind you of Kobe, little turnaround jump shot, the footwork and stuff like that. He's still no Kobe, man. They only made one of those. And then obviously I like Kyrie. He got some features too, reminiscent, the fadeaway, the fearlessness, all that. No Kobe. There will never be another. So yeah, I get really frustrated when I hear, and it actually makes me dislike the player more when I hear those, oh, he's the next Kobe, overreacting off of, him making the finals. You don't even have a championship yet. Let him at least get 2 or 3 of those things before we start making that comparison. How about that, ESPN? Because I haven't seen anyone on Kobe's level, bro. If you know, you know. And people might say, oh, well, you're just a Kobe fan. Clearly, you're being biased. No, we saw him his whole career. We know one when we see one. And again, you'll see little traits here and there on different players. You will see little features, right? It's like when you break up with your girl and then you go out into the dating scene. A girl might remind you of your girl, but that's not your girl, bro. You start dating that girl, she's going to be like, you call her the wrong name, she's going to slap your ass. Like, it's not. You can't make comparisons just because there's similarities, Bottom line. Dan, do you think there's a slim chance we can snatch Ayton from the Suns? He has not signed, and this is last year. No chance, because for one, we would have to unload Russell Westbrook as a salary dump. They're not going to help us do that. I don't see any team that's going to help us do that, or as a trade exception. And then the Suns would have to cooperate on a sign and trade, and they have the bird rights to Ayton. I don't think there's a way he walks away. They'll eventually negotiate, and the only way I can see him walking away is if they decide to play small ball and they do a sign and trade with whatever team wants them. That's the only way, man. That's the only way. Said Ja is not Kobe. He is more AI than Kobe. You know who Ja reminds me of? And I hate to make this comparison because I don't want the same thing to happen to him, but his wiry body, the way he lands, the way he explodes, reminds me so much of prime Derrick Rose before the injuries. Now, again, I dislike his attitude, but I love his talent. I almost bought his jersey. Ja Morant needs to find better ways to I don't want to say limit his explosion, but be more cautious. He needs to pick and choose his timing. He can't be jumping all over the court because when that happens, he's going to end up getting injured just like Derrick Rose. And we would hate to see that. If you love young talent, no matter if you like or dislike the team, you never want to see a young talented superstar in the making in this league get injured. You don't. He said Tyrese Maxey is cold. Yes, he is. Tyrese Maxey is super sick, man. And you know what? I was shocked that he wasn't included in the package, for Ben Simmons but I guess James Harden will do that, right? He's enough. But he said, wait, Devin Booker's part Mexican? Wow, I'm part Irish. Yeah, he is. Devin Booker's part Mexican. He is. Dan, you are correct. Cat always seems to disappear. That took place today. I'm not a fan of Karl-Anthony Towns. I like his talent, but again, his mindset. All right, no wonder him and Devin Booker are good friends because their mindset is kind of weak sauce. Very talented as hell, but he was out here pounding his chest versus an injured Lakers, and now you see him disappearing during crucial games when his team could use him the most. They could have took a 2-0 series lead and went back home and tried to close out the series. Instead, now it's 1-1, and anything's possible, right? It's anybody's series. But hey, He's still very talented. Again, it's no hate. I love young talent. I don't like cockiness. This is why I cannot buy a John Morant jersey after what he said about Laker fans. I will never buy a Karl Anthony Towns jersey. All right, because dude was out here even ragging on NBA players and stuff, and so on and so forth. Yo, Dan, which Kobe was better, 8 or 24? 8 was phenomenal because he was explosive, man. That was him in the peak of his athleticism, and he was a young dog, and he was fearless. All right, he's always been fearless. That's something. But 24 to me was more special because he grew as a leader, grew as a human being, made players around him even better. You know, he learned how to be a complete player to me as 24, and he still had a lot of explosion. He still was a killer, and he won 2 championships as the leader of that team. So for those reasons, I picked 24. However, you don't have 24 without number 8. You know, so I love them both, and I rock both of the jerseys. 8 and 24 depends on the day. Dan, what other players' jerseys you rock besides Lakers players? All right, my girl had last birthday. My girl got me a Trae Young one. You know, the NBA 75 anniversary edition. So that was dope because she knows I'm a big Trae Young fan since Oklahoma. I have a Vince Carter jersey. That one's pretty dope. Obviously, all the Laker jerseys you can think of. I don't have a Shaq jersey, so I got to get me a Shaq jersey. I want to get some of the old school ones like Kareem and James Worthy and all that. Because again, die hard, right? But yeah, I mean, I got a couple jerseys, man. I'm just starting my collection, right? I wasn't always, I was most of the time I was living paycheck to paycheck. So this business has been a blessing, has allowed me to splurge a little bit more. But yeah, we got to keep growing, man. Got to keep growing. Man, I can talk Kobe all day. Me too, bro. He said, Dan, why haven't you worn the Trae Young jersey yet? I have, but I don't wear it every day. I mean, I got so much gear and clothes that I got to mix it up. You don't want to wear the same stuff over and over. At least that's me, right? You got to have swagger, man. Switch it up. And usually I throw that jersey on when it's like my fit matches, right? My fit matches. I throw on the little black and yellow shoes, and it looks pretty sick. But in general, I'm wearing Laker gear more than anything. But yeah, man, I mean, and I also don't want to dirty it because this is like a collector's edition 75 version. So yeah, for those reasons, I don't rock it that much for sure. Take care of your clothes. The Grizzlies definitely talk too much. They're gonna get humbled. A lot of people had them coming out of the West. I keep saying no. They're still young and inexperienced, and they're too full of themselves. Somebody's gonna humble them. It could be the Warriors. It could be the Suns. Maybe the Suns won't even make it past this round, but it could be somebody. But they are talented for sure. So, he said, can I ask y'all Laker fans, what's your opinion on LeBron having the most buzzer beaters in the playoffs? I mean, it shows that he also has the clutch gene in him. However, you could also attribute a lot of that to clearly him, being in the East for most of the years, making it every year and making it far every year. Because the East, let's be honest, the East wasn't that great. The years it was great, LeBron made sure to take them down. Obviously the Pistons and the Celtics, he eliminated those teams, but they were at the end of their peak. And after that, he dominated the East. So clearly, the more you play, the more you're going to break records and all that. But it doesn't take anything away from his greatness. I still prefer Kobe as a killer and even Jordan as a killer because they would never pass up on final shots. And personally, me, I love those type of players just a little bit more than, the unselfish pass first, even though he's great for the game of basketball. But, appreciate you, Vic. He said, Dan, you should go to Del Amo Mall in Torrance and get the Shaq jersey. I'd be getting my jerseys from there at times. Yeah, man, I got to save up for that one. I've been a lot of expenses, man. And the offseason especially don't have the same revenue coming in. So I gotta be smarter. Gotta be smarter. He said, Dan, all my passwords have Kobe 24 on it. Don't tell me that, man. Don't tell me that. If only the Lakers drafted Tyrese Maxey. I mean, look, he's developed nicely. All right. Lakers got to work on continuing to allow our young talent to develop. Imagine how we gave Austin Reeves the green light as a scorer as well. Now, he's going to make some mistakes along the way. Same thing with THT. But these guys deserve a green light because that's the only way they're going to develop. And it's really hard to do that when you're trying to compete for championships, right? Because a lot of fans will start calling them out. You saw how they called THT trash and all this and that and make jokes about him, even our own Laker fans. So the sad part is when he goes elsewhere and he starts balling out, then they're going to change their tune on him. But that's the problem with being a young player in LA. You have to kind of speed up the process and your learning curve has to be a lot quicker. If not, the fans will clamor for yourself to be traded. So That's the tough part. Tyrese Maxey, I think he landed there in Philly. And yes, they had expectations, but due to Ben Simmons, uh, not being a part of that team, those expectations kind of tempered off a little bit. And as a result, man, I feel like, Tyrese Maxey really benefited from him getting the green light to become one of the top players. Hey, appreciate you, Danny. Thank you, bro. Love you too, man. Appreciate you, man. God bless. Kobe is the true GOAT. Well, he's always going to be my GOAT, but it's all opinion based. Again, the only way we could have really settled this whole dispute would have been to have them all play each other in their primes, which is an impossibility. But everybody can make its case to why their favorite player is the GOAT for sure. Oh, my goodness. All right. Mima, thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. Wow, really, truly blessing the channel like that with a 50 piece. Wow. God bless. She said, just want to bless you. You make my day on Twitter with these teams since the Lakers aren't playing. Truly bless me. I'm humbled and thankful and grateful for you and Danny. I mean, y'all really come through, man. Y'all really coming through. So thank you guys for helping pay the bills and keeping the channel going. You guys are the true MVPs. I love you both. I love everybody in here. Just for clicking the like button. Don't forget to smash the like button. And on that note, I do want to pause the video really quick. Well, not pause, but, I wanted to just give a major shout out to my sponsor, Prize Picks, man. They have been phenomenal as well. If you guys haven't, tapped into the app, now's your chance, man. Make sure you type in promo code DTLF if you want to keep helping support the channel. And also, you get 100% deposit match guaranteed up to $100. Now's the perfect time because these playoffs are a lot more predictable to, to say over or under. My suggestion to a lot of you players is if the number's really high, go under. And if it's, respectively low and he's a superstar, go over. And hopefully you guys win and then you guys will be happy with your boy, man. But thank you guys again, Mima and my boy Danny from LA, man. You guys are super dope, for reals. Y'all didn't even have to do that, but y'all bless the kid. He said, appreciate you still doing the lives for the culture, gang. Always, bro. Laker, Luds, I promise you, bro. Like, if I could, I would come on every day and recap these games. But let's be real. Yesterday, the games weren't all that great. Shout out to the Dallas Mavericks, though, even though I didn't watch that game. So I'm not going to clickbait y'all. When it's worth talking about, you could definitely expect me here. And tomorrow, if you guys enjoy the content, you guys want to chop it up with your boy, I'm going to welcome you guys into my living room, which I usually don't do this around the playoffs, especially for other teams, non-Laker related. But I'm a big Kyrie fan, and I look forward to seeing that game, too, between Brooklyn and Boston. So I'm going to be on here live and at 4 p.m. Pacific time in my living room. So if y'all want to join me, make sure y'all hit that post notification bell and smash the like button, man. He said, Pelican Nation up in here. Much respect to the Lakers organization and history. I appreciate that, Eugene. Hey, and I wish you guys the best, man. Laker Nation will always be attached to the baby Lakers. So, we have no ill will towards y'all. We thank y'all for Anthony Davis and that championship. That was phenomenal. Now, we wish y'all the best. If y'all could please eliminate the Suns for us, we would be eternally grateful. All right, that would complete the trade in my heart, and I would be so happy. He says, Slenderman and Larry Nance put in work. CP3 flipping like always. I told you guys Larry Nance was going to be a key part of a playoff team someday, and he continues to prove me right. I always liked his hard work ethic and his selflessness. I said selfishness. Selflessness. So he said, DTLF, no, I wasn't saying LeBron was better than Kobe. I was just asking your thoughts on his playoff buzzer beaters. That's all, bro. I mean, I love everything LeBron has done in his career. Has been phenomenal. You can't take nothing away from it. He's definitely in my top 5 for sure, all time. I mean, he'd be crazy not to put him up there. But is he my favorite Laker of all time? No, that's Kobe. And then I also like Magic because they did a little bit more for our franchise for longer, and Kareem. So I have those 3 as Lakers. Now, as overall player rankings, it's always going to be Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. That's my top 3 rankings. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan. Not because Jordan was one of my favorite players, but because I think he is definitely in that GOAT conversation. You can flip that combination any way you'd like it. I actually get offended when you don't pick Kobe in your top 5 or at least top 10, because then I feel like it's disrespectful. But I understand if he's not your top because everybody has a biased opinion. Hey, Stan the Rams fan, I appreciate you, man. That's major love right there. He said he downloaded my track. I appreciate y'all, man. I hope you guys truly enjoy it. Don't just listen to it from me, because I want you guys to enjoy it. I don't want you guys to to feel forced to listen to it just because it's me. But if you do want to show love and support, and you don't really like that style of music, or you don't like my voice or whatever, you can always go to my YouTube channel on the tracks when I drop them, smash the like button. That's all. And I would truly appreciate that, man. But I hope you guys truly like the tracks. That's what's up. That encourages me. I want to keep putting out stuff. My week hasn't been that great this week, and to do that, but I'm gonna get back on my grind. Hopefully by next week I'll drop another track. My boy Danny, man, he said, for doing live tomorrow, I love the real-time reactions. I appreciate you, dude. Hey, listen, I love doing it as well. Sometimes clearly talking for 2 hours plus, my voice can get tired. And, most of the times during the season, y'all just basketball junkies just like me. So y'all want pregame, live reaction, and postgame. So I let you guys pick. And most of the time, you guys want me to keep pre and post. So I don't do live reactions. But this is a golden opportunity for us to connect, to keep growing the fan base, keep growing the family, and welcome some other NBA fans up in here, because we know enough basketball. We don't just talk Lakers in here, man. So if you're a Pelicans fan, you're a Suns fan, anything, you're welcome as long as you're respectful, man. The only people I block are the obnoxious, loser idiots that just spam weird stuff, or just people that are just hating for no reason, Those are the only people I get blocked here. But your opinion doesn't have to match mine. We can have an objective basketball conversation. It truly feeds the mind and the soul, because we love basketball over here, man. No matter what the team, we love it. In my heart, I will always have Kareem as my GOAT. That's what I'm saying. And I can't even be mad at you. I mean, how could you? He had probably one, if not the most unstoppable, one of the most unstoppable shots ever. 7-footer, that skilled, super humble, hard worker, still the all-time leading scorer. And he was, I love the fact that he was very religious and he believed in what he did. Same thing with Muhammad Ali. I love the fact that they stuck to their guns and they were real ass dudes, man. If you study your history and you find out about these dudes had a lot of love in their heart, did a lot for the community, still continue to do it. Magic Johnson still doing a lot of stuff. And it's beautiful. That's what it's all about. Sometimes it's bigger than basketball, even though ball is life, right? We can all come together as a community and spread the love and positivity. I believe it or not, you guys do a lot for me on this channel, and I appreciate you guys. But I try to do as much as I can for my community. Sometimes I don't tell you guys a story. I don't like to brag about, giving back and doing nice things for people. But I'll tell you, yes, I have been helping people this weekend and wherever I can, and it feels nice, right? So anytime you can just be a good neighbor or a good friend or somebody who can be there for somebody in need, it's a phenomenal thing. He said, Dan, are you enjoying winning time? I am. It's phenomenal, bro. Honestly, I'm entertained at the very least. I understand that a lot of stuff is not factual. Some of it is. I'd say it's probably like 60-40. But I love it. I mean, it's Hollywood. I mean, don't you love the drama? It's dramatized because it was Hollywood. We always have drama here. Even this offseason, the media can't get enough of us. So there's always going to be a story to be told. And I hope season 2 goes into the Kobe Shaq era. That would be so dope. And then season 3 goes into the Kobe Gasol era. I mean, they could really keep this going all the way to where we at now if they really wanted to. And they're always going to get views because the Lakers are Showtime, baby. We're box office. We're always going to get people clicking on us. And my boy said it's funny as hell. It's funny, cool, sometimes corny, but overall, it's just a great show. And it just, we already love the Lakers, but it kind of like reignites a passion in your heart, even during our off season, right? It gives you something to look forward to. So I look forward to every Sunday. And even though I haven't caught up to the latest episode, I will. If I don't watch it tonight, I'll watch it tomorrow night for sure. And you know what? If you guys want me to, I will recap every episode. I'll give you guys probably like a couple days to catch up. I'll probably do it like every Tuesday or something. And I'll recap every episode till the season ends. I'm not sure how many episodes it has, but I'll do my best, man. If you guys want that, that'd be cool. Malaki, my boy said, Dan, Ingram is putting in work. Love the kids. He is, man. You know what? It just feels so good to watch young talent grow in this league and get better. Believe it or not, man, I dislike Boston. I don't root for them, but it felt good for Jason, to see Jason Tatum hit that shot. And he, he's basically announcing to the league that he's arriving. He had a better game than KD. Now, I'm very curious to see that trade-off and how it's going to go game 2. And again, I'm not watching rooting for Celtic. I promise you, that's on everything I love. But I'm definitely, I don't have a dog in the race. My only dog is the only person I cheer for on either team is Kyrie. So whatever happens, happens. I won't be mad if either team wins or loses. But clearly, it would be a shocker and a cool surprise if Kyrie and KD can lift their, bottom seeded team over the Boston Celtics, who clearly there's a history there. He said, Magic is my point guard GOAT. I mean, how could it not be? How could it not be? And even before that, believe it or not, my nephew has really been getting into basketball lately. So shout out to my nephew, man. Love him. He's somebody who barely started catching on. And he's already learning quick. I'm teaching him how to dribble with the right and the left. His dad's teaching him how to shoot, do the post moves. Everybody, we're all contributing to that. And he asked me about players all the time. And I show him YouTube clips, and you know who I showed him, because he's very flashy. He likes to do a little dribble, like close to the court. You know, when they go like this. I don't know what you call that when you just. He loves doing that, and he reminded me of Pistol Pete as a young boy. And I showed him Pistol Pete Maravich highlights. I'm like, listen, you don't have to be the most athletic. You don't have to have the wettest jumper, but if you're a smart player, you can truly be something special. I mean, he wants to join a basketball team, so I'm super excited to show him. I love kids, man, and you know, it's like I'm reliving watching all the basketball highlights of all the greats. I showed him some Steve Nash highlights, Pistol Pete, Magic, all these GOATs before I even jump another generation and show him some of my favorite players. You know, Allen Iverson, Kobe, T Mac. You know, and he's just falling in love with the game. So it reminds me of when I first fell in love with the game as a kid. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Ingram has a deadly mid-range. I love it. He's a killer, man. He's always been that killer. And not only that, his three-point shot has gotten so much better. And the way he drives to the basket fearlessly, absorbs the contact, and finishes. He has such a knack for finishing, knows how to use his length. I remember when we first drafted him, he was kind of shooting a lot. And I don't remember if it was James Worthy who took him under the wing, and they showed him how using that 7'1" wingspan could be to his advantage. And he started getting better as the year progressed. He started looking scarier and scarier. So, man, he's come a long way, but very happy, man. Very happy to see him. So, Dan, if you don't have a Discord, you should. I have to make it for you and help you run it. It is the most downloadable app. Make that Facebook and Twitter. I'll try, man, but I'm already have my hands full. Look, I have two channels, Twitter, Instagram, and sometimes I forget to pay attention to one or two of those. So I'll do my best, man, but I appreciate the suggestions always. He said, show him Lakers history is the best and most beautiful history there is. Oh, yeah, he knows. He knows all about it. I'm way ahead of you, man, because, you know, in this house is Lakers everything. I mean, my living room is Lakers. I literally have a big ass portrait of Kobe Bryant at the free throw line. Is my favorite thing in the house. That and the custom made, shout out to my brother, the custom made blacked out Staples Center with the Mamba 24 logos on the side. Have all kinds of cool memorabilia, and it's always piqued his interest, but never like now. So he's barely starting to like literally. He came over this weekend, you know, for Easter weekend, and we went to the park 4 straight days. He was sore. He had blisters and everything. And you know what I do is I pit my family against adult ballers, and they laugh at us at first, but we got some dubs. You know, they thought we weren't going to win because we had a family, but you know, me and my brother, you know, and we just took over. But even though he's learning, he's getting good. He's even hitting some jump shots during the game, so it's awesome, man. And I'm teaching him slowly but surely because I don't want him to like feel like I'm strict on him, then he falls out of love with the game. So I want him to enjoy it and be passionate about it. You know, they told him to not dribble a certain way, and I was like, no, let him make his mistakes and learn in the progress, because you don't want to take his flair away. You don't want to take his confidence away. So he'll learn on his own as he makes the mistakes and gets ripped, you know, going to the legs at the wrong time, making the wrong passes. He'll learn. But that's just the way I teach, man. He said, Dan, how does he feel about the flippers? You know what? Honestly, he loves playing more than watching. So he used to tease me when he was younger. He used to tell me, you know, Lakers suck. It's all about the Clippers, but just to tease me. And then I would like chase him around the room and pretend to beat him up. But but yeah, he doesn't know about the rivalry and the history yet. He's still in the beginner process. So he'll learn all that. Trust me, man. I look forward to teaching him step by step. But the last thing you want to do is overload somebody, give them too much homework, give them too much at once, because they're young. Their brain can only process so much at a time. And, you know, they still got to be kids. So we're not going to get into all that yet, but eventually he'll know. I mean, he's around me all the time. He knows what I'm all about. He said, finally, BI turned into baby KD. He said that we heard back in the day. I mean, he's not there yet. Let's be honest. Kevin Durant is still one of the most skilled players in the game. And his clutch factor and his mid-range and his overall shot is still slightly better than KD's. Actually, he's pretty much better. But what Brandon Ingram does, in my opinion, as good as KD, if not better, is slash to the rim, and the fearlessness is there. The clutch gene is there, right? He took those shots willingly, and he'll continue to get better. Now, he may one day be as good as KD, maybe even better. Who knows? Sky's the limits for these kids, but he's not there yet. Let's not go ahead. I'd be a hypocrite if I'm getting mad at y'all for comparing Devin Booker to Kobe, and then I go and just give, just because I love him, Brandon Ingram, the title of the next Kevin Durant. It's like, that's hypocritical to what I just said. So I'm being real with y'all. He's not quite there yet. He's got a lot of, let him win a championship, maybe 2 first before we start making the comparison. But yes, there is a lot of similarities to the game, and they're both fun to watch for sure. I've seen Magic Johnson take charge coming out of college. This is underrated. Magic Johnson was just different, man. We're talking about he played the 5 because of Kareem's injury to help the Lakers win a title his rookie season. Never been done. Matt, and I'm not saying LeBron couldn't have done it, but that's never been done in the history of time. Literally, Magic Johnson could play 1 through 5, which LeBron can too, but he led his team as a rookie to a championship at the center position, which was usually he was the point guard, playing alongside Norm Nixon and all those guys. So the fact that he was able to adapt his game and also became a leader. The one thing this show does show you is how infectious his smile was and how great of a person he was, how he would bring everybody. And he was a leader even in his rookie year. So one thing about positive people is people always want to be around them, because they're positive. Positive energy attracts other positive energy, right? So, man, we were blessed. We've been blessed as Laker fans to have such a rich history and such great players bless us with championships, and it'll continue to happen. I never panic when I hear ESPN say crazy stuff like, oh, these aren't the same Lakers as Jerry Buss. Like, man, y'all been saying that since Kobe retired, that we would never win a championship and blah, 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 blah. And as long as Jim Buss was at the helm, nothing was going to happen. Well, guess what? Jeannie took over. We won a championship. We're 2 years out, but this third year could be the charm. Hopefully it is. Anyways, it's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate the donations, the likes. If y'all haven't subscribed, you're from a different fan base. Like I said, you're always welcome, to the family. This is primarily a Laker channel, but I will be covering some playoff games. And if you guys ever have a question about your favorite player, your favorite team, I will do my best to be non-objective about my answers. So thank you guys again so much. Appreciate y'all, man. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Remember, don't be late. We're going to be here. Full game live reaction in my living room. I'm going to set it all up 4 p.m. Pacific time. So hopefully you guys all join me, and let's have fun. Watch some playoff basketball. All right, guys. Have a great night. Peace out. Much love.